All right, welcome back. I'm going to do another video about Scorpio rising. This time I'm going to talk about what it might mean or what it might feel like or what it might look like to be Scorpio rising with your sun in Leo or your sun in Libra or your sun in Scorpio. I'm going to talk about Virgo, but I don't know too much about it, so that'd be something that you can school me about. If you have your sun in Virgo, you can let me know what that feels like for you. When I say sun in Leo, I'm talking about your birthday being between August 16th and September 15th. In Vedic astrology, the end of July, the middle of July, the beginning of August, that's all Cancer. And so those qualities I already addressed in the previous video. But sun in Leo people are charismatic, they like to party, they like to fight. They're champions. They have this really magnanimous, huge energy. They're lions, lionesses, and so they can be really wonderful. Can also be really challenging to be around a Leo or to live with a Leo if you like peace, or if you like quiet, or if you are an introvert. Leos are a lot, and a lot is good, and the world needs everything. So if someone had a Leo sun and Scorpio rising, I would imagine, I don't know anyone with that combination, but I know plenty of Leos and plenty of Leo rising. I would imagine that combination to be, again, Scorpio rising is at its core deep, dark, sexual, sensual, poetic. Scorpion energy also, Scorpios really need exercise. They need physical activity and they need touch. So if someone were a Leo sun with Scorpio rising, I would imagine that person to be like just a really strong leader who never sleeps and just goes like hell. Go, 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 and really physically inclined, very sunny disposition. And I feel like if someone has chosen to come into this lifetime as Scorpio rising, it means that they've already lived through so much darkness in other lifetimes, and holding all of that dark and holding that sort of just ability to be deep, it allows those people to be light bringers, light keepers. My cat wants to hold the camera. So yeah, I just want to say that even though Scorpio is really dark, it takes that kind of darkness in order to hold light. You can't, you can try to be a face of light for someone, but without the depth to back it up, it's not going to be as pure or as strong or as meaningful as when you have a Scorpio rising person on your side being the light. And if you are that person, you know what I mean? Like there's like this ability to just really understand the depths of the human condition so that you can rise above. Scorpio with Leo. With Virgo, I literally have never met a Virgo in my life. So that's if you're born between September 16th and October, must be 15th. I don't know what that's like. I know what I've read. Virgos are very earthy. They're very feminine and grounded. That's all I know. I picture this. Oh, wait a minute. I do know one. I know one Virgo. I picture this like buxom, strong, just really wonderful goddess of a being. I don't know any Virgos, but if you were to mix that energy with a strong, dark Scorpion energy as Scorpio rising, I would imagine that person to be really great. I want to be around that person. I want to be around some Virgo masked people that are Scorpio rising. So I'm going to move straight on to Libra. So Libras, if you have your sun in Libra, chances are you call yourself a Scorpio because in Western astrology, the dates are the same. So, or the dates of Libra in Vedic are the dates of Scorpio in Western. So I've met many a Libra who say, I'm a Scorpio. And in fact, the 3 Scorpio women that I know happen to be Scorpio rising with Libra sun. So they don't particularly subscribe to Vedic astrology. They're all into Western. And in their case, it doesn't even matter because even though they have Libra sun, Libra mask, they are Scorpio at the core. So Libras are great. I think I attract Libras and Aquarians because I'm also an air sign. I'm a Gemini. Libras are amazing if you have your sun in Libra, which in Vedic astrology means you were born between November 15th and December, I think, 12th. Scorpio is the shortest sign. If you are born during those days, then you're considered Scorpio sun, but Libra sun in Vedic is like October 16th to November 15th. And those folks are incredibly flirty and just really fun and easy breezy, can talk to anybody. They're fun. Libras are fun. They go with the flow. They're really airy. They can change just like that, change directions without any unhealthy attachment to what was supposed to happen. Libras are, they like fairness. I think that's why I'm so attracted to them. I feel like, I'm trying not to make it all about me, but if you're the kind of person who just feels like it's not fair when you're doing all the hard work and someone else is just sitting there playing video games or sitting there doing nothing while you're doing something, that would never stand with a Libra sun. They're very much into, you're doing that, let me do this. And also, they'll point it out to you if you're the one that's doing nothing. So Libra suns are amazing. People who have a Libra sun and a Scorpio rising, they are incredible. The women that I know with this sign, this combination of signs, are really close to me. Like, these women get it. They have a really great balance of light and dark, of easy breezy and of solidity. They have good focus, they're intelligent, they like to just study all the time. They're always learning something, always taking some new class. Really focused individuals, but also love to have a good time. So these are people that you can bring to a party and they'll probably just like gravitate toward 1 or 2 of the people there, and they can talk all night to 1 or 2 people about any number of things. And if they're not getting their conversational needs met, they'll move to the next person and be able to talk with ease. Next, Scorpio. So if you're Scorpio, as you would imagine, dark, deep, sensual, sexual, poetic, focused, extremely focused, like really knowing what you want. I think the danger to being a double Scorpio sun with Scorpio rising, would be that it just might get really dark. That might be some depression that's hard to crawl out of. If you have no mask, so to speak, to reach for, if you don't have an ego that's of a lighter caliber, it might be really difficult to get out of your depressed, dark state. So I also want to point out that when I'm saying your rising sign or ascendant sign, so all of these videos about Scorpio rising, what I'm saying is Scorpio is in the first house. So your birth chart is divided, just like the sky, into 12 houses. And planets show up in those houses and signs show up in those houses. And when I say signs show up in the houses, I mean the sky is literally divided into 12 different parts, 12 different slivers of pie. And wherever the constellations are in their rotation, wherever they are when you were born, again, that's your the one that was in your first house, is your rising sign. This is my piece of pie. The first house is the rising sign, but the 7th house is the opposite of the first house. And anyone who has Scorpio rising has Taurus in the 7th house. The first is on the top and the 7th is on the bottom. So the first and the 7th house are opposing each other, which means they have a really strong connection. The 7th house governs your relationships. So people who are Scorpio rising always have Taurus in the 7th house of relationships. Taurus is a sign that's really loyal and dependable and loving. So when you've got Taurus in your house of relationships, you're going to be a person who feels drawn to being in a relationship all the time. So by virtue of being a Scorpio rising person, because you have Taurus in the 7th house, all Scorpio rising people therefore feel most solid and comfortable and whole when they're in a relationship, and they're extremely loyal in those relationships. So this can be a problem when they're in a relationship that's not great, because the way they're wired, first of all, to be like extremely focused. When you take someone who's extremely focused and sensual and sexual and make their relationship the most important thing in their life, in the sign of Taurus, that is like extreme loyalty and stability, that's wonderful for whoever's in that 7th house dating the Scorpio rising. Once a Scorpio rising person is in love with you and commits to you, they've just got like blinders on. You're all there is. There's no past, there's no present, there's just you. And this can be really fantastic. It can also be really hard if the Scorpio is pairing with someone who is perhaps not ready for that kind of intensity or commitment. And obviously, if you're in an emotionally abusive or physically abusive relationship, it can be really hard for the Scorpio rising to get out of that situation, because they do feel so compelled to be loyal and to be in that relationship with the person. However, once a Scorpio rising person decides that you're not for them, it's like, it's just done. It's over. When Scorpio rising walks away from you, they're never coming back. When Scorpio closes the door, they don't open it again. And so this is where the double Scorpio, the Scorpio sun with Scorpio rising, would be like emphatically what I've just described. Like everything I've just described to the X degree, to the nth degree. Luckily, because I have Gemini mask, and luckily for people who have like a Libra mask or an Aquarius mask, any of the sun signs that are in an air sign, so Aquarians, Geminis, and Libras, they do really well with this Scorpio rising, because it allows us to not get so fixated, to not be so intense that it's too much. I have heard so many times in my life since I was a child, like, oh, you're too much. And I think people mean it as a compliment usually, but it doesn't quite feel like that. And it's okay, because again, if you've got one of those air signs, it's easy enough to just lift yourself up out of being too much and instead just start being a little lighter, take it a little easier. So, yeah. That's Scorpio rising through the first 8 sun signs. And I'll do one more video about Scorpio rising, talking about what would it feel like if you had Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces. That'll be my next one. And then I'll probably only do 2 more video series about Capricorn rising and Gemini rising. If I haven't had a really intimate relationship with someone who has these rising signs, or if I myself don't have them, I don't feel equipped to talk about it. However, if you feel like you really want to know about your own rising sign, find out what it is using those Vedic charts below, and I promise you, you'll find so much more accuracy in the Vedic chart than in the Western. And then you can ask me to make a vid. I'll look it up, or you can look it up yourself. All right, have a great afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time you're watching this, and namaste.